managing that tension of like, I'm not going to give up this dream just because it hurts really bad right now to be carrying it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep holding it, and I'm going to learn to walk and wrestle with God in a sense, because you're like, I want this. This is a really tender part of my heart. Like this is a dream that I have that I'm going to be really sad if it doesn't happen. But also at the end of the day, like you don't owe me anything. Hello and welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. I'm Andrea Alley, and I'm here with two of my favorite people.
Lauren Bornique from LA.
Kalli Christopherson from Montana.
You like how I say a city, not a state?
Yeah, you always say
LA. And I'm actually from Indiana, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, when I met Lauren, she would say she's from California, and it took me forever before I realized she was from Indiana. Like,
I was very like wanting to own that I had just lived in California for like a year. And I was like, yeah,
this is where I'm from. Born and raised.
My parents actually went to our ministry school graduation, and my little sister and I said we were from California. And
I remember that.
They were laughing and making fun of us. They're like, you're not from California. You didn't have a license from California. Like, you are from Indiana. And I'm like, yeah, well, we want the world to think we're from California.
Yes.
So, I remember that. But I believed you because you had even then such a California vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. People definitely think I'm from California. And also I think I already told you guys at my, my gym that I spray tanned. And they're like, what type of spray tan do you do? And I was like, this is real.
This is hard real tan.
I know I'm from Indiana.
I run outside.
But I'm outside, okay? This is not a spray tan. I'd be orange like a carrot. So
funny.
There you go.
Andrea, where are you from? No, we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I just tell people I'm from Phoenix, but
no, you say Austin all the time.
Well, okay, yeah, for this podcast, I'm reporting from Austin. Yeah.
Reporting
from Austin.
70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but wearing a sweater because
you're wearing shorts.
Life be like that sometimes. Yeah. So yeah. But sometimes you just want to be cozy, you know?
We're all about the cozy.
We're all about being cozy on the pod.
Cozy on the pod. You know those like podcasts where they like sit on a couch and they're just like, we're cozy.
Yes, I would love to get to that level.
Yeah.
Okay, but honestly, I saw this podcast and I couldn't watch it after a while on YouTube.
Because they're like...
No, this is why. So there's like, I think it was like Sydney McLaughlin. She's like one of the Olympian track stars. Her and her husband, and they're Christians. And this other Christian couple, sorry, I'm laughing, nothing about it. This other Christian couple was interviewing them. But the guy who's like, you know, the main pod guy, had his feet were bare feet. He had bare feet on the podcast and you could see it where everyone else was wearing shoes, but he's barefooted. And I don't know why. I just couldn't handle it. I was just
I could not get past
I was like, I don't like seeing your bare feet on this podcast. So I had to turn off. That's my story. Don't do bare feet.
Funny.
It's weird.
Don't do it.
Or at least don't show it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, good thing it's a podcast. So you could have just listened to it after that.
I know, but it was the YouTube that I was watching. So anyways.
Yeah. Also, my dream for this podcast is that we could do it all in one beautiful room with lighting. So,
well,
one day you want that for us, donate to my Cash App.
Once you move here, both of you, it'll be easy.
I've talked about that, but then Dre told me about the winters, and
Come
I was like,
on, Andrea.
I'm out. Well, you keep running your car into like caverns of snow, and so I don't like that.
It happened one time.
You're like, oh yeah, I ran into this ditch with snow, and someone just took me right out.
Yeah, that happened
Austin
once.
is the spot. It's always been the spot.
They have terrible traffic in Austin.
Yeah, but only around I-35. We'll just find a different spot and it'll be fine.
It also is flat. There's not mountains like Montana or LA.
There's hills.
No.
Mm-hmm. Andrea's only taken me to low rent Target in Austin.
Lauren loved low rent Target.
Was once like a Kmart once upon a time, but they just slapped the word Target on it.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Nice.
Austin, it's fine. It's just not like ideal.
Yeah. It's no Montana.
Yeah, Montana's pretty dreamy.
The film industry's here, Kalli. It's here.
It's rampant here. Okay.
Rampant, rabid. It's rabid here.
It's just booming.
Booming. We got Yellowstone.
Yep.
And
I've been
that's
in it.
And that's
true.
Yellowstone from like 1940.
No, the
No, the
show
show,
Yellowstone.
Lauren.
Oh, I thought there was like a movie, Yellowstone.
Don't ask Lauren about the film
Yeah.
industry. She only watches documentaries on running.
It's true.
On
Literally.
YouTube. And I'm like,
Literally.
this is the best life. I watched a lot of 90s movie. I watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids the other day.
Oh, that's
great,
such a good
great
one.
It
film.
was so good. There's a lot of making out from the kids. I didn't even know.
Uh-huh.
I do not
Like,
remember that.
Yeah, the girl and the neighbor boy, they made out. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember this as a child.
Wow.
It's so funny, like now watching and being like, man, I have like switched to parent mode. Like I'm like, you guys
Yeah.
are too young to be doing that.
I was just thinking.
100%.
I was like, how did they know to make out like that immediately? Like when you first kiss. So
yeah, so
anyways.
intense.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well,
Anyways, Dre.
Andrea, tell us
Yeah.
what happened to you today.
I mean, speaking of athletes,
Oh my gosh.
I was out on my morning run today. And
I love this.
I started to do this thing because I noticed that my right knee was like giving me trouble. And so I
That
started
trick
following
knee.
the knees over toes guy. Do you know him,
Good.
Laura?
Yes, this is good. This is good. I don't know it, but I
Okay.
know you need to do that.
Okay, good. Yeah, because runners especially are susceptible to knee things. And so
yes, this is
I was
good
like,
that you're
"Gotta
learning.
strengthen these knees."
I'm very proud.
And so his main thing basically is to walk backwards. Like that's that is how.
Okay, continue, Dre. I'm obsessed already.
That's how
I'm
you,
obsessed
that's
with
how
this.
you strengthen your knees.
That's-
So
There's a lot of ways to strengthen your knees, and that must be one.
I don't have a gym membership, Lauren. I'm limited in what I can do.
There are so many things that you can do to strengthen your knees without a gym. But anyways, continue.
There are, and one of them is to walk backwards. So anyway,
I can't. I don't want you to be one of those people. Okay, continue.
I'm about to be one of those people. Okay, so
He was today.
today. So I go on the full run, and then where I've been walking backwards is on the hill. They go.
I can't. How long are you walking backwards for? How long?
The big hill. It's like 2 minutes.
2 minutes of walking backwards? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's enough. I think he says to do 5.
I
But
bet as a neighbor watching you is probably loving
my
this.
neighbors have been watching me. Yeah, they're like, "What is this girl doing?" And I'm like, "Knees over toes, guy. Follow him." So anyway, I like look, but I'm looking, you're assessing the situation. So I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, there's no cars. Like it's clear. And it didn't register in my head. Like there's still obstacles in the way. And so because there's like 4 Home Depot bags full of like yard
No.
clippings.
No.
But in my head, I was just like, oh, yeah, easy workaround. And so I got a little lazy about checking behind me. Why did I volunteer to tell this story? This is so embarrassing.
Share it.
Okay. So I get lazy about walking behind me. And I'm literally like thinking about my day, like thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast. And all of a sudden, I go from walking backwards and thinking to like fully horizontal.
No.
Like,
No, Dre.
on these 4 bags of leaves.
No.
And I just was like, wow, that honestly could have been so much worse because I just
Positive-
really cushioned my fall.
positivity. Positivity. This is
Then
why
I'm immediately like, did anyone see this? This is wildly embarrassing. Like, and then I thought if my friends were here, aka you guys, they would be laughing their heads off, and I would not hear the end
I
of
was
this.
already giggling that you were just walking
Yeah.
backwards, not
Yeah.
let
Just
alone.
walking
I'm so glad you're okay though, because that would have sucked.
It would have been so bad.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I got back up. Nobody saw that I know of, unless if somebody was watching, like happened to be looking out their window, like
were you,
they
like,
got a
on
real
your-
show.
Were you like on your back, or were you like more on your butt? Like, you know what
I
I
was
mean?
like lounging like on my butt. Like
Oh my
I don't know.
God.
I do think my back made contact though with one of the bags of bleeds.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
So
whoever
yeah, go
came
ahead.
back later is like, what the heck? I just put these
Yeah.
all together. Why did someone push them over? Oh,
Well, they didn't. They were actually pretty solid. They didn't really move. Like
Oh,
I took a
good.
picture
That's
after.
good. That was like best case scenario for
No,
falling.
I can't even believe it was. Maybe there was an angel back there too. Like wow.
I wonder. Okay, so I'm not against you going backwards. I just think you need like a mirror, like a reflective
Well,
mirror.
I usually like kind of look over my head, you know, like this. Hard to
Yeah.
do with a microphone.
Yeah,
But
you gotta
I
be
just got
careful.
lazy today. Because I've actually been doing. I've been doing this for like 3 weeks probably.
And is it working?
Wow.
Yes, I don't have any pain in my knee anymore.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So we'll take it as a testimonial.
And I do feel it like working different muscles, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Than just walking forward.
I'm very proud of you.
So
This is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
What
Oh
a
my
great
gosh.
story.
You're welcome for that, people of
Thank
the pod.
you. That was honestly everything I needed and more. Lots of little giggles there.
A real treat.
That was a treat of treats.
Treat.
So, well, should we get into it?
Yes.
Let's do
this
it.
is the long-awaited, long-anticipated Left Behind podcast.
The Left Behind
episode.
series.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Did you guys read Left Behind or watch it?
I watched it,
no.
I think, as like a child.
Oh, that's so
I
scary.
know.
Yeah, it was in
I
the
just-
90s.
I just have a memory of like in my church like basement, like playing part of it and like certain parts of it stuck in my mind. But I was kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So
I think similar scenario for me. I think I just like watched part of it at like, I don't know if it was like an after school thing because I went to Christian
Special.
school. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't remember the whole thing. So I'm like, did I watch the whole thing? I don't know.
Yeah. I was definitely like, I'm not going to watch this. I don't want to get that in my mind.
Wow.
That's
Be
honestly
scared.
smart. That's honestly
Yeah,
smart.
you were
I was
ahead
already
of
like,
everything.
Y2K was already a big enough deal for me, you know?
Yeah. Well, and now that I'm more at the like theology nerd, I'm like, I don't even know if I agree with this eschatology. So
definitely
that's a whole other
don't.
podcast in itself. Eschatology.
whole other pod for another
Eschatology
day.
and dating.
Yeah, I don't even know my eschatology that well, so I'd have to research.
That would
but
be so
It
neat.
hasn't come up in dating as much. I only know the things that come
Yeah,
up
if
in
it
dating.
does, I'm always like, whoa, okay, what's going
Whoa,
on
We're
here?
getting into the nitty gritty.
This
The
is
weeds.
deep.
We're
So,
going deep.
what's your eschatology on your first date? Oh my god, I cannot imagine.
Are you pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib? I don't
No,
know.
like-
Is mid-trib a thing? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, we're not talking about
No.
eschatology. We're actually talking about when you're the last one single in the friend group. Womp womp.
We promise this will be a positive experience at the end.
Yes.
It'll be positive, but we do like, I don't know. I want to be real, like, because it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like we're like Pollyannas all the time that are just like, yeah, we like love dating, we love going after it, like it's always fun. I never get
No.
exhausted or sad
Yeah.
or tired because we all
I'll do.
do. Yeah.
Yep.
So I definitely want you to feel like we're with you and we have been there. I was just telling them I've been the last single friend in like 5 friend groups or something.
Mm.
So yeah, and we just want to kind of like be real about our experience and also just what we've done to handle it and what's made it better. And people have different ways, honestly, of like coping with it. And it might even be seasonal, like in some seasons you might have one way that works to cope with it. And then in other seasons, there's another way that works. So yeah, we just wanted to talk through it and definitely make you feel like you're not alone if that's something that you're experiencing, and yeah, give you our whatever wisdom or tips we can offer. So yeah, did you guys have anything else you wanted to add to that intro?
No, beautiful intro.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we can start with maybe some stories, I guess.
Yeah,
Lauren?
for sure.
Yeah, Lauren.
Well, I'll kind of go over maybe like a timeline of, I know I went to a college, a Christian college in Indiana, where it was like a joke of like ring by spring or like by graduation. And so it was this idea of like, oh, I might meet my husband in college, which is like wild to me now because it was like such a baby. You're like 18 to 21, but people did. And some of them are still married, which is like really cool. And my stepsister and her husband met in college at the same college, and they're, in their 40s and have 2 kids. So they got married when they were like 21. So, which is wild. But so I feel like I was like, okay, probably not in college, but I'll probably like a year or 2 later, I'll meet my husband, And so
you're like, I'll be practical
I'll
about
be
this.
fine. I'll go to California and I'm like, so cool. Of course I'll get a husband because I'm cool,
Yeah, you are cool.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So I think it really like, I mean, I saw people like younger than me start to meet, but I think for some reason it really started to hit me when I started to have like I would like start to have seasons where it's like, oh my gosh, everyone that lived on my floor in college is now married. Or, oh, these girls I know that are like way younger than me are now married. Or it's just like that started to realize like this timeline thing of these people around me are married. And then I was like, oh, all my high school friends are married and they're having kids and I'm single. Like, so those type of things started to like click in my head, that those data points of just, oh, I'm like behind and I don't know what to do. And so I think that's when I turned 30, I was like, I'm on a timeline to have babies right now. I am behind, like, and I have friends around me that are finding their significant others and getting married. Okay, so I got to like figure this out. And so that's where the past 5-6 years have been of like dating and trying to get married in a sense, but realizing, wow, you don't have like any control of like another person choosing you. You can only control yourself. So yeah, there's been like so many different series of like iterations of friend groups and people getting married around me, and me figuring out like, why am I still in the same spot every year while a lot of people's lives around me are changing? And so, yeah, it's been like definitely so many different emotions of like grief, sadness, comparison. If because you could look at so many people around you that, have these things that you want, like a family and a marriage and kids. And it all of it, you kind of have to like get back to God, and and some of them are easier than others. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's like awesome for them, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're married too, like like I discipled you, or you're like way younger than me, and so it feels like you're on this time crunch. And so that's a little bit. What about you, Kalli or Dre?
Yeah, so I think like similar to Lauren, honestly, I feel like I'm counting the friend groups. Like I was like, oh, last of my high school friend group, last of my college roommates, like last of a couple friend groups I had while I was in Reading. Yeah, I'm like, we're not quite last from our YWAM team yet. I was trying to, but a lot of them are getting married. Basically last, yeah, and I think like I guess one story in particular was there were 2 girls in Reading that we got really close, and we would literally have like these weekly debriefs and chats about dating and talk about like different dates we'd went on or who we had a crush on, or yeah, just, you know, we talk about boys. And they both at the same time met their now husbands, like around the same time. Well, I guess didn't meet. I won't say meet. Started dating them though. They both were like friends with them. And so they both start dating these guys and then literally end up getting married 3 weeks like apart. Their weddings were 3 weeks apart. I was a bridesmaid in both of their weddings.
Oh.
And so that was probably the most like in your face one. You know, the other ones are kind of
Yes.
more like you just think about it. You're like, oh, I think I'm the last one single. But that one was like, whoa, this is like very in my face. And then I actually had like a huge, like, because around the same time, I actually had a pretty big crush on a guy that I told him about my feelings, and he was like, oh yeah, like I don't feel that way. So like not only single but like rejected like during the same time. So I don't know, I guess I just want to say like that's very real. Like if you've ever experienced something like that, like it's tough. And I think there's so many thoughts that can come up, like comparison and stuff for sure. So I think, yeah, the way we want to start this is just to let you know, like we've definitely been there, like and it's hard, when you feel like everyone's moving into the next season of life without you. And it almost like compounds the loneliness of it, because you're like, man, I'm not in a relationship and I'd like to be. And then it's like, oh, my friends are like, you know, they're dating other people, and I'm not getting as much time with them. And even with this, like this friend group specifically, there was like a point where, because we were all in a group text together, and there was a point on the group text where, like, I think it was in the 3 weeks between the first one getting married leading up to the second one getting married, and they were like kind of starting to talk about like what married life was like. And the one who was about to get married was asking questions, and they were talking about like engagement season. And I actually reached a point in the group text, where I was like, hey, do you guys need me for this? Which I think, like, I mean, I probably could have communicated it more directly, but it was almost just like I was like tapping out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you
Because you're
know,
like,
like,
this is like a 2-person conversation right now, not like the 3 of us.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think their heart was actually like to include me and keep me included. But I think you also just have to realize, like, sometimes you just don't need it. There's certain conversations you don't necessarily need to be in. You know what I mean? Like, I think being aware of like I'm like, okay, if I was dating someone and this was coming up for me in the next year or so too, like I would be down to be part of this. But it's like you said, Lauren, like I was like, I have no control over
Yeah.
when this happens or if it happens. And this is something that like I really have to be open-handed about. And like, and I want to celebrate both of you and the season that you're in. And like, I'm so excited, and I love that you have each other to like talk about this and ask questions and stuff. But I also know for myself, like, I just, yeah. So I think I forgot what happened exactly. We either started talking about something else, or maybe they took it off the group text and started a side text without me. I don't know. But yeah, that was probably the toughest one that I've been the last one single in. Yeah.
What in that scenario, Andrea, what did you end up like doing? Like how did you navigate that whole situation? Especially being in both of their weddings.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the main thing was that I said, um I did actually send that where I was like, do you guys need me for this? Because I think the mood was kind of light and jokey. So I didn't want to like, I don't know. I don't think I wanted to be like too intense, but I also kind of wanted to be like, hey, kind of need to like, I think they also realized it when I said it. So, yeah, I think that's what I did. But I don't think I asked anything else of them because I really tried as much as possible to take responsibility for my emotions, you know, like I really didn't want to like be like, hey, could you celebrate a little less around me? You know, like
can you calm down?
Yeah,
and
like
people
can
are
you
probably that
tone
way. Though
No,
that's the sad
literally.
thing.
Yeah, like can you tone down the happiness? And like I was like, no, I want to like fully celebrate them. Like this is an exciting time and I want to show up fully. Like I don't want to be checked out or bitter. Like and so I definitely like, and I honestly love weddings. Like like Lauren's like, I love like
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Weddings are the
so like,
best.
their weddings were fun, you know, like I really like, I don't think during the day necessarily like I had a whole lot of like hard emotions. Because you are just like, you're like, God's been so good in their lives. Like this is awesome. And just because I'm not seeing, you know, the same thing right now, the same like breakthrough or move in a season, like doesn't mean that he's not good, you know. It doesn't mean that he's not still faithful just because it looks different. So yeah, but I will say too, you know, just while we're on the topic, because I remember processing that disappointment with that guy. I remember there was like this one trail, the river trail. You like walk around the Sacramento River, and it wasn't the one that was by Turtle Bay. It was like the other part of it that has like a lot of trees that are overhanging it. I loved that.
Such a good spot.
And I literally, you guys, I'm like, I dug a deep well with the Lord, like walking up and down that trail. And he actually like, there was something on, which I don't even listen to this guy that much, but in that season, I was listening to this live album from Ben Rector because it was so like, it just carried something like really lighthearted and hopeful in it. And I just felt this like, this almost like, I don't know, it was like this invitation, I guess, from the Lord to be like, hey, like you get to fight for hope in this season. Like you get to like really press into like, okay, my hope was not in that person liking me back, you know, or my hope's not in finding a relationship. Like my hope is in Jesus and like managing that tension of like, I'm not going to give up this dream just because it hurts really bad right now to be carrying it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to keep holding it, and I'm going to, you know, learn to walk and wrestle with God in a sense, cuz you're like, I want this. Honestly, it would be easier to be like, this, you know, F this, I don't I don't really want it, you know, and like lie to myself. And but it's like, no, like God, like this is a really tender part of my heart. Like this is a dream that I have that I'm going to be really sad if it doesn't happen. And and but also like at the end of the day, like you don't owe me anything. Like, you know, like holding those two things is so hard. But I think, yeah, it's like one of those things is that it's like resistance training or something. Like when you like learn how to like push up against that hard thing, like you really do, you build a muscle where it's like, I'm building a muscle of getting back to hope and getting back to like like the Lord's faithful and he's good. He's good no matter what. Just like my sweatshirt says right now.
Yeah, her sweatshirt says "goodness of God" on it.
Yeah.
We approve of it. Yep.
Anyway, yeah. Hope that was kind of a long answer, but
No, I loved
so
it.
good. No, it's just fun because I mean, like you touched on, we're always in different seasons. Like sometimes you're in, I don't know, you and your group of friends can be in the same season, and sometimes it's totally different. Or like you said, the three of you, it looked like, oh, it looks like we're all going to be in this time together. And then it was like, oh, two of them were and you weren't. And so it's just like, how do we navigate that? And yeah, we always have that choice, like we've talked about before, of like, okay, do I celebrate? Do I distance myself? Like, what do I choose to do here? And it's hard. It's not an easy thing, but like, what we end up leaning into will have a dramatic effect on us and the people around us. So it's just like, learning what to choose in those moments is huge. So definitely.
Yeah, for sure. How have you guys handled it in different situations?
I guess for me, so I've definitely I've also been in the Left Behind series. I think I am the last of high school for sure. I'm like, there's one other girl who I know from the beginning. She was like, I never want to get married. So she's probably still single. But I'm like, all right, so I'm the one that's single that still wants to be married. But definitely from high school, I can think of so many roommates I've had that like are all married now.
We were just talking about our house that we lived in. We think we're maybe the last ones.
Yeah, we were like, us and maybe one other girl, but we've had like lots of different roommates.
Yeah.
Several close friend groups. I'm like, it's like me and one other person, and the other people have been married for like 4+ years. So I think the thing that has been really hard for me is these people would like start dating and get engaged and get married, and I would just have like nothing, like maybe go on a date, but just not even like I hadn't even had a relationship yet. So I'm like, not only do I not have a relationship, but someone else has met some stranger, dated, got engaged, and got married in that time span that I've not had anything happen.
Yeah.
And that for me was the hard part. I was just like, oh, Jesus. And once again, we've talked about this, but like, it just feels so unfair. And that is just the thing of this whole process, is there's no fairness to it. And so that was the thing that I really had to deal with and come to terms with, and choose if I was gonna like lean into celebrating somebody else's season and mine like totally different. And I remember a friend of mine who, I think she had gotten married, I was like in her wedding, but she was talking about like me being single, and she's like, I'm sure like you're gonna meet somebody like really soon. And I was just, I could tell though she was saying it out of a place of just like hoping that was true and not really believing it. And I wanted her to be real with me, and I was just kind of like, you know what, I don't really feel like I'm gonna meet anyone right now. Like, just being totally honest, that could be different and that's awesome if it is, but like, don't just tell me something you think I want to hear. Like, right now, the loving thing you could say is, you know what, like, I'm really sorry that it's been hard for you, and could I pray for you or something? Like, just offering me something real rather than like, I'm sure you're going to meet somebody really soon. Because I think back to that, and that was probably 10 years ago. And I now have a boyfriend, but it was 10 years in the making. So it's just like,
she's like, see, I told you.
That was soon.
Right around the corner.
God's timing was soon.
So
honestly, or something like you're handling it like an absolute champ. Feel free to tell me that. Wow, you know, like when somebody's going through something hard and they're handling it with any level of grace, like
Yep.
just tell them that, you know, like
Yeah.
it's like, dang, I see you. Like this is
Mhm.
hard. And I see that like you could give in to like bitterness or anger or, you know, just like throw the whole thing out and date someone crazy. But you're
Yep.
not doing that.
Yeah. So good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about how I've had friends that have like stayed with me in the midst of their progression of like dating, engagement, marriage, becoming moms, like those friends who have just been like, I want to be a part of your life and I want you to be a part of my life, like in all of
Yep.
these stages.
Yep.
Those are like the golden friends. That's the
Oh
type
my
of friend
gosh.
I want to be like in every stage and season of my life, is like being committed to the seasons of other people, right? Like no matter what. And I appreciate those friendships because they're not like, oh, Lauren, I pity you that you're not where I'm at, or I'm above you because I've arrived. They're like, dude, I get it. Because a lot of my friends had to go on a journey of waiting. Probably because there's just like a connection there, you know, of being in that stage together. And so I've really appreciated those friends. And then it's been painful. Like I had a friend that we were in the same, you know, kind of both had gone through some pretty hard breakups. We connected a couple times, like all about it. And then she met her boyfriend, you know, they got engaged. And I remember like seeing them and she's kind of just like ignored me. And it was like, oh my gosh, like it was really painful. And there's probably more to it. But it was like, oh, like this, you like dropped me, like, you know, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like some people, they just are busy and they're devoted to that and they build a new life. And so they don't have room for like everyone to come into that new life. And that's like sad and unfortunate. But I'm so thankful for the friends that I've had who have like been like, no, Lauren, like you bring something to the table in my life, whether I'm single or not. And I like really, it helps me be like, that's the type of person I want to be in every season of like, I have something to offer. Cause I know I've heard from my mom friends, you know, they're like, I really do want some mom friends. Like I do want someone who gets me in this stage. And so you're like, I'm sorry, I can't offer that right now. You know, I'm like, yes, I pray you have mom friends, but also I love when they're like, but Lauren, I want you still to be like a part of my life. Because you do carry something that I need in that friendship. And so, super thankful for those type of women. I appreciate it. It helps.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about it before, but it's like, just bring us along. Like, you know, if we need to hang out at a playground so that your kids can play, like, and we catch up, let's go for it. Like, I don't know. That stuff doesn't bother me. Like, what bothers me is not getting invited anymore. Like, and I think that's a hard part about being single in your 30s is it does start to feel like, oh, like I'm not in the club, you know, like I'm not in the so much of like, I feel like my like female friends like talking about like being a woman now, like where it used to be different conversations, like now it's a lot around like having kids and labor and like, you know, like breastfeeding and all of that stuff. And it does feel like you can start to feel like, oh, I'm not in the club. And that's, I think, just, I mean, it's something to be aware of, but it's not something where it's like, oh, just like stop inviting us because we can't handle like, you know, the feelings of it. It's just, it's kind of like, I don't know. We still want to be part of your life, like Lauren said, like, and we want you to be part of ours. Like when you find quality friends, like you don't want to just let them go because you're in different seasons. So
no, for
and
sure.
always giving the option too. Like if you're the friend that has like, I don't know, you're getting married or having a baby or something and you have single friends and you're like, I don't know if I should invite them because maybe they'll feel bad. Like just give them the option, like invite them and let them choose if they want to come or not. And that's, you don't need to go into details or anything, like, but just like let them decide. So
yeah. That kind of segues to one of the questions I was going to ask you guys.
How perfect.
I've heard people have different answers to this, but like, what do you think, like when it feels like, man, the events are stacking up, like I'm going to a wedding, there's an engagement party, there's like a gender reveal, you know, like we're kind of in that season of life where it's like just thing after thing after thing, or like maybe you feel like remember Kalli, like in our old house we counted up how many times we'd been bridesmaids between all of us, and it was like, I don't know, like 30 or something.
Yeah, there's so many.
It was something crazy. So what's your approach to those seasons? Like, do you guys excuse yourself from anything, or are you like, no, I'm going to go to everything? Like what's kind of been your approach?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I go to all just because I love parties. I love me a good party. I love a piece of cake and all of that. So why wouldn't I go?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like for me, I'm like, these people have been praying for these seasons. Like they have dreams coming true. Like this is awesome. So to me, I get really excited. Again, the mentality is like their win is my win. Like their celebration, their victory, their you know, these beautiful things happening is like a win all around for all of us. And so I really try to make sure that my heart posture is like really, just like really submitted. So honestly, overall it's always been like really, really like just like excited for them, because I really try to stay away from a victim like self-pity mentality of like, woe is me, like I you know. And I would say I got in a shame spiral. I call it shame spiral over winter break. So this was during December, and it hit me out of nowhere, and I had to take a couple days. And I still, when I think about it, I kind of like, whoa. I remember going to my my best friend from middle school. I went to her house, and she had, you know, those like cute little like Christmas cards that are from families. There was 4 Christmas cards of girls we hung out with in high school with their families of like 3 to 4 kids.
Oh man.
And it was like the shame I felt, like it's like stuff I've like kind of tried to ignore, you know, and it hit me out of nowhere. And that was like, oh my gosh, it almost like took the breath out of me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only one from high school, not only not even like really in a relationship, but like I don't even have a marriage or kids, and they're on like kid number 3, 4. And that was just, oh my gosh, it really was like, I am so behind. So that was like really something I had to really keep surrendering to God, of like, God, I don't understand my timeline. It is so different than a lot of other people's timelines around me that I grew up with. And so having to just like keep surrendering it and just be like, I have to submit my life again to the Lord. So that was more one where I really struggled. But when it comes to like most people's celebrations, whatever, I'm like so excited. And so I was with a friend who's pregnant with her second, you know, today, and I was just like, this is the best. You know, I took a picture of her like a mom. I was like, we'll not get to see you pregnant this many times. And the pictures for me, you know. So anyway, so yeah, there you go. Kalli.
Yes. Yeah. I think of, the friends, the weddings, and all the things. It's actually funny because so far every wedding I've been asked to be in, I've been in. And it happened to be around a season where I was very like broke. And I remember my mom
Why
was
are you
like,
laughing, Dre?
Andrea loves my poor stories.
Just a fond memory in my life is hanging out with Kalli when she was broke.
Dre, you were broke too.
Yeah, we were both broke.
Not as bad as me.
I was teacher broke, but Kalli was like starving student broke.
It's a great time.
God. Sorry, Kalli, continue.
Yes. But
Lauren always makes me sound so savage.
I know. She's like, why are you laughing at Kalli? Just covering me. Thank you. But I remember my mom being like, Kalli, maybe I think you should say no to some of these weddings because you have no money and you should just be saving it for, important things like food and whatever. But I was just like,
So
Mom,
good.
like, you know what? These things are important to me. And like, yeah, it's costing me a decent amount in this season to celebrate these people. But like, I know that I'd really regret like if I didn't. And sure enough, like there was like a couple of years where it was like so many of my friends getting married. And now there's been like quite a few years of not. So
yeah,
I'd say when that does start happening, just really like lean into it. And you don't have to say yes to everything, of course. And especially like, if it's like someone getting married, there's so many things. There's like a bridal shower, a bachelorette party. There's, if it's out of state, like traveling, and there's so many things. So definitely have like the practical side of like, okay, this is what I can logistically do, and then other things I can't. But just really like, yeah, like you guys have been saying, these moments are moments that they've prayed for years and years. So just really like embracing that and leaning into it is so important. So yeah, I've always been down for a good wedding, a good party. Like I'm the same as Lauren. I love a good time, love some cake, dancing, sign me up.
Yeah.
So yep.
Yeah. I think I've said yes to everyone who's asked me to be in their wedding too. And I've also flown, like, and I kind of the same mentality. I was like, I want to be there. Like it's only one time, hopefully. I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, I haven't flown every time I've been invited, but I have flown every time they're like, I want you to be in my bridal party. I'm like, okay, great. I'll be there. I'll make it happen. So yeah, I don't know. I also feel like it's not necessarily helpful to like just be like, I'm gonna like sit at home instead and like, kind of like pat myself on the back or whatever you do. Like I don't, it's like it's like that makes it worse. Or like like sometimes I'll even get into those modes where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna like just journal my emotions for hours. But there's nothing, sometimes you do need to do that. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna like go to this wedding and think about somebody else besides myself for 6 hours, like it's
getting
like
out of self-pity.
Yeah. Like I'm like, it's at the end of the day, like life is not about me. Like this is not a movie that revolves around me. Like it's, like it's like I'm not the main character here. Like it's this, I am here like to serve and to like love other people, especially the ones that are like important to me, like it's like, and sometimes you do need to journal your emotions, but sometimes you just need to make it about somebody else. Like you just need to make someone else happy. Like stop thinking about all the reasons that you're not happy,
Yeah, for sure. And I think the grass is always greener on the other side of like, people have stuff going on in their marriages, people have stuff going on with their kids. Like there's always something. It's different seasons that we are going through, that we were talking about. If like, everyone has something that they're dealing with, and I wish everyone had like the most perfect life ever, but that's just not reality. We're messy humans in a messy world, and so there's always something people are dealing with. And so I think it's just like giving each ourselves and others like just so much grace for every season that they're in. And that's where we really do need community, because I just keep thinking about like, okay, if I get the gift of being in a committed relationship and then being married, like what type of friend do I want to be to my single girlfriends? I have a ton of single girlfriends right now. And so I'm like, I don't want to leave them behind, or I don't want them not to be a part of my process, or just like be like, well, you're not married. You're not married like me, so goodbye. It's just like, what the heck? Like, no, thank you. So, so I just was like, I always am thinking about that. Like, what type of friend do I want to be in every season of life? To people, and invite them into that process,
Yeah, it's true. You're right though. Like there's people that are really lonely inside of marriage, you know, like it's not
community.
Yeah, it's not just like an outside of marriage problem. Like it's there nobody gets through life unscathed.
Dang it.
Dang it.
That's why we eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly why. That is exactly why. Also, okay, to bring the scripture into it.
Yes, please do.
Do it, please.
Finally.
The Bible. It's controversial, but
that's why it's on here. Let's go.
John 21:20 is where Peter asks about John, because I think, let's see, Jesus says, I don't know if Jesus had just said something about Peter. Oh yeah, it says, okay, so verse 19 says, Jesus said this to indicate what kind of death by the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And so Peter, you know, has like a gnarly death. He gets crucified upside down, which I don't think is in that verse. But so Jesus is kind of like alluded to it, I guess. And then Peter turns, he sees John, and then he says, Lord, what about him? And Jesus answered, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You must follow me. And I keep thinking about this moment because, you know, I'm like, God, look at them. Like they're seeing breakthrough here. Like they got pregnant, like they, you know, got married or whatever. And I just feel like I'm in the same spot with all of these things. And like, I just think about this moment, like, it's like, this is what I'm asking you to do. Like, this is the moment of life and the financial situation and the relationship situation and all of it that like I've been given to steward right now. And like at the end of the day, if he asked me to be single until I die, like he can ask that. Like it's, you know, like I'm going to do what he asked me to do. And you know, and that you like hold that with like, I'm going to also do as much as I can to like create movement and on a practical level, like, you know, go after the dreams that I feel like are godly dreams and desires. So anyway, yeah, there's an element of like, okay, God, I'm going to do everything that is in my power to go after like the more or the dreams that I feel like you've given me or you've placed in my heart. But at the end of the day, I'm surrendered. Like at the end of the day, I hold everything with an open hand because like I'm here to do whatever you ask me to do. You're the boss, you know?
Yep.
So yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Did you guys have any other thought?
I think that's it. I think that's like what I wanted to share
Yeah.
it, because I'm just like, you just don't, there's so much we don't have control of, but I think we do have control of like our heart, like perspective, our mind perspective, like our heart posture. And that's where it's a continual surrender of life anyways. There's so many things, you know, you might get the marriage, but then you lose a parent, like Yeah. And I don't want that for anybody. What I'm just saying is like life keeps happening. And so what are we going to do with today? Like, how are we going to embrace today? And like serve others, think about others. And of course, go out there, create movement if you want that. And I love Dre was talking about that earlier. She's like, you know, when I've had like friends dating, that I'm like, well, what am I doing? You know, and creating movement in your life if that's something that you really do want. But a lot of it is like out of our control. And so with that, continually trusting like, God, you really do have my timeline, and being expectant that he can do anything. He really can. Like he can shake up anything in our lives. And so the purpose of life is not to just get married and have a family. The purpose of life is to serve God and like to live out the calling that he has called you to. And that might be to be a wife or a mom. But there's also all these other things that God's called you to outside of that. It's not just those sole responsibilities. And so just knowing there's so much in us that God like has called us to, and whether you're single or dating or married. And so figuring out what that is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I just thought of a couple more things.
She's like, on that note.
But just to circle back to what you were saying, like there's been seasons where I feel super single and I've used it to press into the Lord and really like just make sure I'm finding my identity and my hope in him. And then there's been seasons where I have used it to fuel me to go after what I want, because I'm like, okay, I'm seeing these people date and like, what can I do? Like, these two were dating at one point and I was like going to a singles mixer and I was on dating apps and I was going after it as much as I could. And it actually alleviated a lot of like the maybe sadness and disappointment around it, because I was like, at least I'm going for what I want, at least I'm not just sitting here. So that, and then I also think like I've done this a lot in my life, which is why I probably come back to it a lot, but I've labeled so many things as like singleness problems. Like I'm the only one experiencing that and it's because I'm single. Like, but this isn't a singleness problem. This is a life problem. Like navigating being in a different season than the people close to you doesn't just happen when you're single. Like that happens in marriage. Like your husband might have a job where he's like blowing up at work and everything's going awesome. And, maybe at your job, you feel stuck in your career and you kind of hate it. Like, and maybe he's going to be experiencing success when you're not, or you're going to be experiencing success when he's not. And how are you going to show up for him in your marriage? And then like we've talked about it, but how are you going to show up for your friends? Like, it's when one friend's having a baby and you're not having one yet, or one friend's killing it at work and you hate your job. Like we're never like, it's not like we reach this point in life where it's like, we're all in exactly the same season all at once, like in every area. Like, I don't even think that happens. Like,
nope.
Yeah. You might hit the same season in one area and that's great. But like, chances are there's something where you're gonna have to like manage your emotions and process that stuff and bring it to the Lord or whatever. So yeah, that's all I would say to wrap it up.
I love that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So there you guys have it. The Left Behind series. It was one episode.
Yep. One and done.
I can't wait to have our eschatology and dating podcast.
And intergenerational dating.
Oh my God. What if we just like, we went on like a huge tangent where we just did all these theology episodes.
Exactly. We go off of Christians who date and we just go to Christianity.
Christians who debate theology.
There we go.
We paused on dating. We're sick of dating.
We've all become nuns and we're just
I can't do it.
The bride of Christ.
The bread of Christ.
Oh my gosh. That is one of my scenarios. I'm like, if I'm single forever, I'll just be a nun and go really deep into theology.
No, I feel like you would get married at even like 70 if you had to wait, which we believe you will not. But
that's true. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to die. This dream.
This dream is alive and well as I walk backwards up those hills. I can't. I wish I had this on video, like you walking backwards. That's honestly the best part of this podcast today.
Yep. So, really is.
Such a mess.
I love it. That shows you really have confidence. So anyways, on that note, we'll wrap it.
I do have this ability to just tune out like what people think. I don't know.
Yeah. I love it.
Very good.
I love it. Okay. Love you both.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for listening, y'all. Sorry we don't have a video of me falling onto leaves.
That's okay.
But we will talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.